Hi everybody, I've got 3 topics for today's video: referendum levies, seconding motions, and the consent agenda. First off, referendum levies. One of the questions I got a lot during my campaign was how property taxes in the future would be affected by the referendum. In 2024, voters approved a referendum for the Antigo School District to borrow $54 million for capital improvements. The district borrowed $14 million in 2024 and $20 million in 2025. At our July meeting, the school board approved a plan to borrow the remaining $20 million in 2026. Taxpayers have already seen the initial effect of the referendum on their 2024 and 2025 property taxes, shown in orange in this graph. The referendum part of the levy was $2.9 million in 2024 and $3.3 million in 2025. The district's plan is to pay off that debt by 2045. So let me extend the graph I'm showing you now all the way to the year 2045 in the future. Now the plan is for the referendum part of the levy to increase gradually up to about $3.8 million in 2028, and then stay at that level for the next 17 years. Of course, what that means for each individual taxpayer will depend on the levies for the other 2 funds and the property values in the district, all of which can change every year. For reference, the total school district mill rate for 2025 was 6.77, or $677 for a $100,000 property. Now that's just the school district part of your property tax. It doesn't include taxes from your city, village, town, county, or technical college. Okay, these next 2 topics have to do with parliamentary procedure, so they may not interest you unless you are a regular attendee or viewer of the school board meetings. Okay, next topic, seconding motions. A few folks have asked me why we don't second motions during school board meetings. And the answer is that Robert's Rules of Order relaxes some of the guidelines for small boards, those with 12 or fewer people. So the procedures allowed for small boards include: motions need not be seconded, members may speak an unlimited number of times on a question, informal discussion is permitted, and the chair may speak in discussions and vote on all questions. Last topic, the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a collection of items that require board approval, but are typically so routine that they don't merit much discussion. If there's something in the consent agenda that a board member thinks needs further discussion, they may request that the item be removed from the consent agenda and addressed separately. They may do so for any reason at all, and they don't need to state their reason. Once the request is made, the item must be removed from the consent agenda without a motion or a vote. Then that item will be handled separately from the rest of the consent agenda items. That's it for today's video. Hope you're all having a good summer.